All right, so we're going to have a look at Kaynan Duarte at the Europeans, and just a really good sequence from spider guard to 50-50, 70-30 to a sweep. And I'm very impressed because this is something that you used to see only in the lightweights, and to see someone in the heavyweights using this, to me, is it's a big step up. And I think that's one of the reasons why Kaynan's started to become so dominant, because he's using really good movements that you see in the lighter weights, but he's able to bring that to the heavier weights, and that's just a great evolution. So let's take a look. So it's from spider guard. He's going to go for the sweep. His opponent stands up, steps across. He uses the spider guard sweep to get to 50-50. So he's going to thread underneath into 50-50. He switches to 70-30, takes his opponent over, and comes up on top. Very nice sequence. So let's have a look at that. We'll break it down. All right, so in spider guard, first Kaynan goes for what I call like the basic spider guard sweep. So we stretch out, get our hips out to the side, pendulum our leg, and then we try to pull our opponent's hips forward of their knees, okay? So I kind of pull, I bend my knee and my hands as I block this leg here, and I try to take Jacob over. Right. Jacob's reacted, as we'll talk about, but let's just say you don't stand up. Let's say he doesn't stand up, I'm trying to take him over here, okay? So as he's beginning this movement, his opponent starts to stand up, right? And Kaynan steps on the outside of this ankle. So it's basically meant this left leg can't recover base. If I was just here, you could step wide. So I said left leg, right leg can't step out, okay? And then he would keep his base, and I don't have too many follow-ups, right? But if I block that and start taking Jacob this way, he's gonna have to cross step over the top, right? And this is where Kaynan can start to enter 50-50. I wanna try to bring him forward with my right leg so I can get my hips up underneath. So I kind of go here, and I start to shoot my hips up underneath. The more I make him step, the easier that'll be. So I'll just show that again, but with a bit more momentum. Take it from your knees. So I go out to the side, he stands, I block this leg. See, he stepped closer here, it'll be easier to thread through to 50-50, okay? So this is such a good sequence. He kept this same sleeve the whole time, and it stops his opponent being able to base and prevent the sweep. So once we get to 50-50, an upgrade is to get to 70-30. I basically want to take my right leg, get on my right hip, stay up, and I want to hook in front of this leg. Okay, this is called 70-30. So looking from this side, I hook with my right leg, and I use that to get on my right side. Okay, and from here he can step. He retracts his foot, which is going to help him a little later. I'll talk about that. He's pulling that hand down towards the mat, basically trying to make his opponent post, and he steps on the hip, and they get to here. Keeping this sleeve is then able to pull that post out from underneath him, retract his leg, and he comes up like at what is the beginnings of a leg drag, and then works towards passing. So one thing I really liked about this, and you can see he's got a lot of depth in his knowledge of the position, is when Kaynan went to sweep, instead of keeping this leg hooked across like 50-50, he's actually taken it to step on the hip. So I could sweep with that leg across. The problem is when I sweep, see, I'm now in 50-50. Okay, so it's good, but I've now got to get out of 50-50. That's somewhat of a difficult task sometimes. Kaynan has taken this foot out and stepped on the hip, okay? Because now, when we off balance, it becomes easy to move my foot from here out. I'm no longer in the 50-50. And because I'm holding both sides of Jacob, so his whole left side's taking control of, he tries to get back up. It's really difficult. I can pull these out underneath as I get up, right? So I've got his arm and his leg on the same side. So again, we get our hips out, we pendulum and go for the spider sweep. Our opponent stands. We step on the calf or the shin on this side, so he has to step across, bring him forward, and bring our hips up, threading the foot through. We change sides, so we work to 70-30, step on the hip, pull as we kick, and then we take that base out and retract our leg. And from here, if we have a race where we've both got to try to get up, I'm going to win because I have these two controls. All right, so watching that again, you can see here, the attempt at the spider guard, standard spider guard sweep. His opponent stands and he'll put this foot on the outside of this leg. There we go. Okay. It just meant that he had to step with that left leg. Do you see the very quick reaction from his opponent to keep his base, because otherwise he's going to go over. He brings that leg over the top, and Kaynan's hips shoot right underneath. He was expecting this, and he's ready to now shoot his leg through into 50-50. All right, so you can see that left foot's now threaded through in front of the leg. He's still got the spider guard hook, but he's going to take that out now. Okay. All right, so now he's keeping hold of that same sleeve he had the whole time. He switches to 70-30, so that just means he takes his right leg. So this leg here is going to hook in front of this thigh. There we are. And he takes his left foot out so he can step on the hip. And that's going to put his opponent's hand on the mat, which he can then pull out as he gets up. And now he's got two good controls on the bottom half of his opponent's body as he's ready to retract this leg. So he's going to win the get up here. They both try to get up, but Kaynan wins, and he comes up in a good position, ready to pass. Okay. So excellent movement from Kaynan Duarte. This is something, I think it almost looks like the way like Cabrinha used to play spider guard and work that in towards 50-50. So, I think generally, not always the case, but a lot of the time, techniques kind of develop in the lighter weights and they move up to the heavyweights over time. As, generally some of these things that require a bit more flexibility and so on are a bit harder for the heavyweights to get used to. But when you got guys who can use it well, like Kaynan, that's the future. So if you're a heavyweight and you're trying to become a good competitor, if you have some of these attributes, definitely use them. Look at some of what the lighter weight guys are doing and try to implement that into your game. It'll give you a huge advantage. If you like this breakdown, you can check out more of my content on submeta.io.